Hi, Halsey.
Hey, Erik, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm doing so good.
Yeah, I would imagine. I'm watching the counter on this video. It is just climbing. I mean, since, I've been waiting to talk to you for like the last 5 minutes. Just it's getting higher and higher and higher. That's got to be the coolest feeling in the world. Now or never. The video came out yesterday. And I mean, I got an email this morning saying, oh my gosh, it broke 2 million views. No, you're about to break 3 million views.
I know, I can't believe it. I mean, it was such a crazy day yesterday. We dropped Now or Never, we dropped the video, we dropped the pre-order for the album, we did everything at once, and put up a bunch of really cool content as well as the vinyls and some merch. And
yeah.
I felt so bad. I was giving everybody everything at one time. I was like,
try
to stay calm.
I don't think any of the Halsey fans are complaining about that at all.
I hope not, because I got a lot more surprises in store for them.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. So the new album, Hopeless Fountain Kingdom, that's June 2nd, correct? Mm-hmm. Okay, and you can pre-order that right now on iTunes, which I was looking at 16 tracks. That's a lot on an album.
Yeah, well, I think that my album is always going to be a reflection of me, and I don't know how to shut the heck up, so naturally my album would have 16 songs.
I love it. And going into the creative process, because this video, I mean, I really am in awe of it. You should be so beyond proud. It's an amazing music video, but I like that it's not just trying to be a music video. It's a story. It's visually stunning. It's fun to watch, and it's captivating.
Well, Now or Never, the video is it's one part of what's going to be a really long narrative of a couple videos for this album.
Because it's a concept album, correct?
Yes, it is a concept album, and one that I'm so excited for the world to have. It's a story of, it's kind of a Romeo and Juliet, West Side Story type narrative that's about these two people who are desperate to make their love work, but there's two forces keeping them apart. And there's a lot to it, because it talks about the way that we try to kind of force people into different roles based on their class or their race or whatever their position in society is, because there's one house that we immediately characterize as good and one house that we immediately characterize as bad.
Right.
But the more you watch, the more you start to see that there is good and evil, and there's evil and good, and people aren't quite what they seem on the surface. And as this love story kind of unfolds for these two star-crossed lovers, and Now or Never is right in the center of the story. So there's more videos to come, and you're going to get an origin and a resolution, and we're going to see what happens to the two main characters. And it's been such a fun process. When I sit down to make an album, I like to think of it as like scoring a movie.
Yeah.
So it's my directorial debut. I've never directed anything before. So
that's crazy. That's what I meant to ask then. When you do sit down to make an album, are you thinking in terms of music videos as well, or what you could do visually?
Oh, always. I mean, every time the songs kind of just come out of me, but in the same way, subconsciously, I think there's a ton swirling around in terms of, cool merch items we can do and interactive experiences and the live show visuals and, the music videos and the album cover and how we're going to make everything tell the story of a greater universe that I'm inviting and encouraging people to come be a part of,
Yeah, I love that everything you do is so all-encompassing in that sense. It's not just one aspect, where some people, it is just the song or it's just the music, which is okay, but that's not what you're about. And I think I fully noticed that. I saw you live at Lolla when you were in Chicago last year, and I was mid-interview, and both the person I was interviewing and myself were like, no, we need to stop. We need to go watch Halsey. So we're sprinting across Lollapalooza, which you know how crazy that is.
Oh, yeah.
You played Lollapalooza Brazil as well.
I did. I've played a bunch of Lollapaloozas. I did Lollapalooza at the BMI stage in Chicago 2 years ago, and then last year I got to play the main stage, which was amazing.
Which the crowd was electric.
Oh, I mean, that picture, honestly, the picture of the crowd with the Chicago skyline behind it from the main stage was the screensaver on my iPhone for a really long time. Because every time I opened my phone, I was just like, oh, I can't believe I get to do this,
That's wild. Let's kind of go back into the all-encompassing thing. So much of what you do is all interconnected, or it's a statement, or it's a different version of you or what you're trying to, put out there. I gotta ask, because I was, interested, along with everyone else at our iHeartRadio Music Awards, the belt bra.
Oh, yeah, that was so funny. Everyone thinks that I just woke up that day and was like,
no, that had to be planning.
Wear a belt for sure.
Right.
No, it was actually how the outfit was Versace.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it was kind of how they intended for it to be worn. That's how the model wore it on the runway. And I was just kind of like, why the heck not? I think I'm pretty known for wearing pretty revealing outfits on red carpets, but a lot of it comes from, I have a lot of tattoos.
Yeah,
and
you want to show them off.
Yeah, there's so much a part of me that when they're all covered up, I don't feel like myself. So most of the time it's, my intention when I'm, half naked is because I'm trying to show off all these little different, details of me that I've had inked onto my body.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's just, I love that people thought like, oh, she must have been running late, so she didn't have time to get a shirt or a dress.
Yeah.
Like, no, these are weeks, months in advance for prepping for this kind of stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
And getting back to the album, and in terms of, prepping, when you have 16 albums, when you have this narrative in your mind and you have a pretty clear vision, how do you know when it's done, when to stop and move on to the next track and then finally just stop on the album?
I mean, life imitates art. This record was about me going through a relationship that was really toxic for me, and a relationship in which I kind of felt like I was letting a version of myself die, for the other person, which is where this whole Romeo and Juliet imagery comes into play, and, in terms of a metaphor. And it was really interesting because I finished the record right as the relationship kind of dissolved, and permanently, it had been a really long breakup process, and it was kind of back and forth, and eventually when I finally decided to kind of regain my identity and take myself back and be my own independent person, which was when the record finished. So it was like, I was living the concept. It was manifesting itself into my real life, and there was no better reward than that too, because obviously it's really hard to let someone go, but having this incredible piece of art that I made through that struggle was an incredible amount of validation, and it was almost like a what's the word I'm looking for?
Like a release almost?
Yeah, or like a consolation prize. It was a consolation prize for.
Well, I went through all of this, but at least I got this out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so it all culminated, I think, once I kind of took control of myself back. Because it put me in a position to know myself and love myself and make music that I felt was authentic and organic again.
Well, I think that's what you're known for, and that's definitely what I know for you for, and especially in the industry as well. Just the authenticity is there, and I can't tell you how refreshing that is. It's not as common as you would think. So thank you for that. Thank you for putting out just this awesome material, and we cannot wait. Hopeless Fountain Kingdom, June 2nd. If you haven't seen it yet, if you're one of the few people in the world that haven't seen this Now or Never video that is just climbing like crazy, you need to get on YouTube and check it out right now. Halsey, thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for all your kind words, and thank you for getting on the phone with me. I'll see you soon in Chicago, okay?
Yes, please. We need to make a new screensaver for your phone, okay?
Heck yeah. Bye, Erik.
Bye, Halsey.
Yeah, no, no, no.